Jacinda's exit, and the 9-month possibility. Let us start with Jacinda because the way General Hospital handled her departure left an important door open, and the specific way that door was left open is the kind of storytelling choice that has meaning. Here's what happened. Jacinda did something she absolutely should not have done. She put a drug in Willow's coffee. She did it from a place of genuine care for Michael, from the specific desperation of someone who watched the person she loves being relentlessly targeted and took the one action available to her that she thought could change the situation. The intention does not make the action acceptable.
Michael was clear about that.
When children are involved, the acceptable standards are different, and what Jacinda did, however unintentional the danger to the children was, put her outside the boundaries of what Michael could defend or excuse. The breakup was necessary. The decision to ask her to leave Port Charles was defensible given what the continued association was costing him in the custody situation. Willow moved immediately to use the drugging incident as further evidence that Michael's world was not safe for the children. A restraining order followed. The legal machinery around the children was already responding to what Jacinda had done, and Michael staying with her was not something that could coexist with his fight to keep access to Wiley and Amelia. But the way Michael handled the actual goodbye, the envelope of cash, the encouragement to move on, was the specific kind of practical rather than emotional response that left Jacinda feeling dismissed as well as ended. She came to Port Charles as a person trying to build something real. She cared about Michael genuinely. The ending she received was kind in its logistics and not particularly warm in its humanity. She walked out heartbroken. And the show left her exit explicitly open-ended. That is the detail that matters. When General Hospital writes a character out cleanly, death, clear departure, relocation with no unfinished business, the exit has a definitive quality. When it leaves things open-ended, it is leaving room. And the specific room being speculated about is the most classic of soap opera returns. She might come back in 9 months. Jacinda and Michael were together for a significant period of time. The timeline works. And the specific quality of a character who did not know she was pregnant when she left, who goes away and discovers the situation, who then has to decide what to do about it, and whether Port Charles and the man who sent her away with an envelope is part of that decision. That is a story with substantial dramatic material. The complication is Jacinda's history. She was a con artist before Michael. She scammed wealthy men. She was trying to build something genuine with him, and the show gave her enough genuine feeling to make that readable, but the history does not go away simply because she wanted something different. A Jacinda who comes back to Port Charles with a pregnancy, whether that pregnancy is genuine or manufactured as a better leveraging strategy for a larger piece of what Michael has, is a character who brings every layer of her history with her. If it is genuine, the story is about a woman trying to navigate a very complicated situation involving a man who ended their relationship and a custody battle that is already consuming everything around that man. If it is a scam, the story is about Michael having to evaluate whether what Jacinda is telling him is true and what his obligations are either way. Both versions produce story. Both versions bring Jacinda back into the orbit of everyone she left behind. And both versions complicate the already extraordinarily complicated situation at the Quartermain estate. Port Charles has not seen the last of Jacinda. The only question is how many months we wait. Brennan tells Nina to pull back, and Ava cannot believe what Drew did. Now let us talk about Wednesday and the collection of conversations that are going to produce some of the most significant shifts in how the key relationships around the Michael-Willow-Nina situation are operating. Start with Brennan and Nina, because the line he delivers to her, "Pull yourself back, Nina, before Willow takes you down with her," is the clearest and most direct thing anyone has said to Nina about her situation all summer. Brennan has been involved in the protection of Willow through multiple crises. He knows what the protection has cost and what it continues to cost. He knows better than anyone in Nina's immediate circle what the exposure looks like from the outside. And he is telling her that the exposure is too high. Nina has been the most committed protector in Willow's world this summer. Not because she agreed with everything Willow did, she did not, and she said so on multiple occasions. But because Willow is her daughter, and the specific force of that connection has made Nina repeatedly choose coverage over her own well-being. She pushed Drew into the lake. She has kept secrets that could send her to prison. She has been implicated in the administration of paralytic drugs. She has been in Brennan's orbit in ways that have put her under the WSB's awareness. Now Willow has been forced into the Quartermain gatehouse by Michael's blackmail, and the custody situation has shifted dramatically against Willow. From Nina's perspective, this might look like a relatively stable moment. Willow is contained, Michael has leverage, the immediate crisis of what Brennan has been managing seems to have settled into something manageable. But Brennan sees what Nina is not seeing from inside her maternal commitment. The leverage Michael holds over Willow is not static. The situation is not stable in the way it looks. Willow's warning to someone this Wednesday, "Walking away unscathed will not be as simple as you think," is Willow's declaration that she is not done, that the corner she has been backed into is not a permanent position, that whoever thinks the situation is resolved should think again. Brennan telling Nina to distance herself before Willow takes her down is Brennan reading the situation more clearly than Nina's maternal love allows her to read it. He is not telling Nina to abandon her daughter. He is telling her that continued active involvement in whatever Willow does next is going to produce consequences that Nina cannot protect herself from. The distinction matters. Will Nina hear it? She hears everything Brennan says with more weight than she would hear it from most people because the relationship between them has developed real feeling. But hearing it and acting on it are different things when your daughter is the subject of the advice. Nina's history in this specific dynamic, being told to step back from someone she loves and choosing to stay anyway, suggests that this warning is going to require more than one delivery before it actually changes Nina's behavior. Meanwhile, Ava is having a completely separate reaction to completely separate news. She tells Drew that she had no idea hell had frozen over, which is the specific reaction of someone who expected one thing from someone and received something that contradicts everything that expectation was built on. The most likely explanation for this, given everything happening around Drew this week, is that Jack's pointed warning to Drew in front of Alexis, the reminder that a man in Drew's position cannot afford more enemies, produced something that nobody expected it to produce. Drew may be actually considering letting Scout see Danny. He may be backing down from the position he has been holding with such rigid fury since he recovered from the lake. If Drew is genuinely easing up, if the combination of Scout's visible sadness, Jack's threat, Alexis's patient advocacy, and possibly his own quiet reckoning with what his restrictions have been costing his daughter is producing a change in his behavior, Ava's reaction makes complete sense. She has been allied with Drew. She has been drinking with him and scheming with him and listening to his plans. She understands better than most people in Port Charles what Drew's position has been and how committed he has been to it. An olive branch from Drew is hell freezing over. She says so directly. Whether this is genuine or strategic is the question that everyone around Drew should be asking. His history of using apparent gestures for ulterior purposes is well established. An olive branch that costs him nothing important while buying him something useful in a different direction is very Drew. But so is the specific weight of a daughter who told a friend her life was easier when her father was in a wheelchair, and sometimes that weight lands differently than the person it fell on intended. Rick and Sunny and Willow's warning, and the full Wednesday picture. And finally, let us look at everything else Wednesday is serving up, because this is one of those episodes where multiple characters making specific choices in single scenes are planting seeds that are going to grow considerably in the weeks ahead. Rick goes to Sunny. The line he delivers, "A situation has come up that I might need your input on," is the opening of a conversation that could go in multiple directions. The most immediate interpretation, given what we know Rick has been dealing with this week, is that he is processing what he witnessed between Dante and Elizabeth. He is jealous, he is spiraling, and he has the terrible instinct to bring Sunny into his personal drama rather than dealing with it through the direct and honest conversation that would actually help. Sunny as the person Rick goes to for input on a relationship situation is a choice that comes loaded with its own complications. Sunny has told Rick he wants him to be the Jason who tells him the truth rather than what he wants to hear. If Rick brings this to Sunny and asks for input, the version of Sunny who is trying to operate from wisdom rather than from old patterns might tell Rick directly what anyone paying attention already knows. The way to handle jealousy in a relationship is not by scheming. It is by talking to the person you are in the relationship with. Or Sunny might get pulled into something he does not fully understand and complicate the situation further. Both are possible. Willow's warning to someone that walking away unscathed will not be as simple as they think is Willow operating in exactly the way that Brennan was warning Mina about. She is not accepting the corner she has been backed into. She is informing someone, whoever she is talking to in this moment, that the situation is not resolved from her perspective and the consequences she is contemplating are real. The warning itself is simultaneously a threat and a declaration.